Hey Loretta, good afternoon. I say this in all seriousness, you're one of my favorite actresses, and the biggest compliment I could give to anybody is you're unforgettable. Everything you've ever done always stands the test of time. You're awesome.
Thank you.
One of my favorite shows actually is Boston Public, and sometimes I feel that it's underrated and forgotten about. So can you share some fun memories you had while working on the show, and can we ever expect it to come out on Netflix or Hulu or something?
Oh, God. You know, it's amazing. That show, we did 82 shows, and to go into syndication, you need 100. And there was some licensing problem or something that happened with David E. Kelly. But David Kelly was the most unusual person to write with. He was an incredible writer. He'd write all the shows in longhand on a legal pad, I think, and then, of course, he'd give it to somebody to type up. But what was so funny was that David would say to me, "Oh, you're going to be in love with a midget next episode." And you would go, "He's got to be kidding."
But he wasn't.
He wasn't. No, he wasn't. And it was such Finkel, Harry, I can't even remember his name. It's been so long and so much has happened. But the entire cast was that was an incredible cast. There was a lot of young people because we had the high school people. It was done so well. So there are 82 episodes. I don't know what they're going to do with them. They got everything else on TV. I'm hoping at some point they will put that back on. He wrote incredible monologues, and you had to do them word for word. You couldn't be adding no little extra stuff in there, which was also great. But he was so different because usually whatever script you got would be the script that you would do. But it was a single camera, body cam, one camera instead of multicam. Multicam is like 4 or 5 cameras at once, and it's a whole different reality. And we'd have long hours, so it was really fun.
Doctor is definitely in. Hey, Ken, thanks for being here.
How long have you been holding the doctor is in for?
Dude, he's been holding it in like a fart.
Too much pride.
That guy's been holding it in like, yeah. Nice shirt, by the way.
Thanks, man.
Look at that.
All day, Ricky.
All day.
Going back to 2009, Ken, I want to talk about your experience with Jeremy Piven being the first ever celebrity guest host of WWE Monday Night Raw. You know what? I know you guys were there promoting the goods. I love that movie, by the way. What was it like being inside the ring against a guy like John Cena?
That was still, to this day, one of the most surreal experiences I ever had. To promote the goods, Jeremy Piven was a celebrity guest host of Raw, and Jeremy and Adam McKay, who produced the movie, were like, let's get Dr. Ken in. The Hangover just came out. He's newly famous, so let's get him be the co-host. And growing up on wrestling as a kid, I knew I knew a lot of the, but I'm older now, and so I didn't know as many of the newer wrestlers. I knew a lot of the kind of the agents or some of the writers, so they were like the people I grew up on. It was really surreal, and John Cena couldn't have been the coolest guy. I mean, we scripted it, so we almost did an angle for some. I can say it now, but we actually almost continued. There was a thing where John Cena threw me out of the ring, and actually I went on Jimmy Fallon and called out Cena in a mock promo, and I shot a promo on him saying, like, that didn't go how it was supposed to go, dude. You hurt me for real. It was like supposed to be a thing, and then maybe for SummerSlam I was gonna do like some sort of thing and cost him the title, and there was talk about it. I really wanted to do it, and but I was shooting, I think, Community at the time. I think it was just due to schedule, but I really wanted to do it, and to hang out with Cena backstage. I mean, there's a reason why he's the flagship of the WWE. I mean, he just, I mean, it really is to watch a guy like him care about product and what he does and about what the show, I mean, it's all about the passion for the project, and he even said, it takes a lot of sacrifice to I think about that a lot, where John had said it takes a lot of sacrifice to do what you do. And in this business, especially in WWE, where you're constantly on the road, you're not seeing your family, this is a sacrifice you have to make. And do you really want this? A lot of people think they want it, but they don't. And I almost extrapolate that in my own little comedy world, and it's like, yeah, what are the sacrifices that you make, to get to that next level? Are you really prepared to do the next level thing? So, no, I love Cena.
Hi.
Thanks for being here. I just want to reiterate what Ricky said. 10 Things I Hate About You, not only one of the greatest teen comedies, but also, in my opinion, one of the greatest movies to ever happen. I know when I look back, I always smile, truly.
Oh, good.
And I can't wait for the next Bourne film. I remember seeing you in a production about 2 years ago at the Lortel Theater, Phoenix, I believe it was. And you have such a great stage presence. If you were to return to the stage, what kind of production would you like to work on in the future?
Well, thank you very much, first of all. I really like two-handers. So Phoenix was just two characters, and so was Oleana. I just like this, like, for some reason I gravitate towards shows that are just two actors and you don't leave the stage for 90 minutes. 90 minutes, wham, bam, done. Like, no intermission. I think, yeah, and that kind of like Harold Pinter, Neil LaBute, David Mamet kind of writing that's very, like there's something almost musical about the dialogue, and there's something very specific about the rhythm and cadence that you have to speak those lines of dialogue with. I just worked with Teresa Rebeck, who is, she created Smash, and she's a playwright, and she has a similar kind of influence, I think, and her plays are something that maybe I would want to tackle, because she also has a good sense of humor, which I like.
Hey, Johnny, how you doing, man?
How are you?
Good. I love the scarf. Very fancy.
Thank you.
So I have a question. I know that earlier in the conversation with Bill, you mentioned that you had a lisp when you were younger. That's true?
Yeah.
Okay, cool. I find that to be very...
I don't know how cool it was.
Well, no, to be honest...
That's not what the kids on the schoolyard told me.
They were wrong, clearly. Because when I was younger, I was told that I had a speech impediment too, and I think that it takes a certain amount of focus to be good at what you do. For you, how has that made you stronger as a performer?
You know, I never considered it, but you know, voice is a big part of creating a character, and often you're asked to do dialects, accents, and things like that. And I've always found it, and I don't have the most musical ear, but I've always found it helpful if you can find a sound where it originates in your mouth or on your tongue or, you know, in your nasal area, and I guess I'd never considered that, but it must have come from the speech therapy that I had as a kid that I approach that, because most people can just kind of mimic something immediately. I have to find where it is in your vocal cords and mouth. Thank you for that, man.
Hey.
I learned 2 things new. This just became therapeutic for me.
That was a great last question.